to have the facilities match the quality of the athletes has really been a wonderful thing.
My life at BYU utterly began on the steps of the Major Building.
Once it was built, it really did transform campus life.
The Major Building was the focal point of the university. It set out on the brow of the Temple Hill. There were only 4 buildings on the upper campus. There was the Major Building, there was the Grand Library, there was the Brimhall Building, and the President's Home. All the rest of it was orchard. With apples and pears and peaches, we would raid the university gardens, and that became part of our living. And then it was exciting to see thousands of young people coming, and the lower campus was totally inadequate to care for all of the students. So the move began from the BYU lower campus to the upper campus. Of course, housing was a serious problem. So BYU purchased over 60 barracks buildings from Hillfield. The 20 buildings that were set up for married housing were called Wymont Village. It became known as Flag City because the girls would hang clotheslines between the buildings, and suddenly there were white diapers fluttering between the buildings on Wymont campus.
The Wilkinson Center really did change the center of campus from down the hill and the Joseph Smith building to this big, beautiful building. The Joseph Smith building was kind of a mini student center because there was the Cougar Eat in the bottom.
It was really dark, and you went downstairs, and you can tell them more about it.
Well, it was. And you ran into cute boys there, and it was a good place to be.
Junior prom was the first event that was held in the Wilkinson Center after it was completed, and that would have been in the spring of 1964. And I remember the new smell of the building. It smelled so new. The windows, they were such big, tall windows, and once it was built, it really did transform campus life. It became the meeting center. It's where people met. They'd meet for lunch, or they'd meet before they'd go somewhere else, and it was a social part of life.
As freshmen, we had to wear these on campus so that the upperclassmen could pick on us and make us do things. There you go.
BYU's football team particularly was not exactly world-shaking back when I was young, and we used to go to football games at the stadium, which is located where the RPE, the Richards PE building is, and the seats came down the side of the west side of the hill there. And I can remember one game where we were being beaten so badly that we actually it had snowed before, and so people were throwing snowballs and trying to get them in the cheerleaders' megaphones. And one of the men cheerleaders caught the snowball in his megaphone, and that caused a huge cheer that resounded through the stadium. Then we moved here to what's now the LaVell Edwards Stadium, and it was just amazing to see that many people at a BYU game and to see us playing on that kind of a level. The first BYU basketball game I remember going to was actually held in the women's gym, which is down on University Avenue and 5th North. And then that wouldn't hold enough, so we played at Springville High School for a few years before they finally built the George Howard Smith field house. We thought that was an amazing facility. I mean, people were always calling the BYU field houses the cracker box, and we were saying, finally, we have a gym that we can play in that anyone would appreciate playing in. When the Marriott Center came, then that was one of the biggest facilities on any university campus, and was kind of a crowning place for playing basketball. Well, as I see the current campus, it strikes me that it's really the fulfillment of the vision of some wonderful pioneer educators.